You're all getting it right. It is elephant duck. Well done, guys. Great to hear you still have your eye on your duck. Brilliant. Let me see. Just heard. It might have been a little bit too far. There's a few birds calling actually. That could be your who sung it. Do do do. Do do do. Are you hearing them? It's a little bit. No. See if I can get one that's a little bit closer. Thanks, Anna Marie. Trouble is, you haven't heard the bird calls and what they should sound like. But Anna Marie thinks I'm an expert bird caller. So I'll just not show you those birds that I've been intimidating. Yes, maybe I have. Maybe that's why the roller disappeared. But yes. Let's see if I can find a bird that's going to sing closer to the mic for us. Favourite mud wallows around here. That's got a lot deeper. That is still a favourite one, I believe, just judging by how deep that one is. That started life out as a little puddle. And then as the rain falls, that little puddle gets used by warthogs and sometimes maybe even hyena when it's really hot. And as that puddle grows, then the rhinos and buffalo then go, ooh, actually, that looks like a good place to cool off. And then they'll roll in it and make it bigger. And then, of course, the elephants also then join in the fun. So I think we're going to take Vulture's Nest, going through Spaghetti Junction. Now this all changed after the cyclone hit in 2012. It was actually in January. This was completely different. They're absolutely amazing to come and see it after the water came rushing through here. And even down by Twin Dams it changed. It was Twin Dams, a lot of grass, and now I think it probably will still be like that, but there was a lot of sand. It almost looked like a beach. Absolutely amazing. And the spots to try and break up the outline of a bird or an animal. And you can see how well that works. You can barely see it now. So crested francolin. Females have a brown cap and males have a black cap. See, and I have always thought this was just so special. It was such a wonderful concept, and the fact that we can share these wonders of South Africa with you back home, wherever you are, in Arkansas, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Argentina, it doesn't matter where you are, you can actually join us, and that is so special. And the fact that we've had people from years gone by still with us, still watching, still enjoying, and the fact that we can actually interact with you and you can interact with us, it's all of that. Yeah, that is what I do miss. That the research has been really exciting for me, obviously new challenges as well, and learning about a new population of leopards, While we were off air, we were actually talking about the Cape leopard as well. Again, the Cape leopard is much smaller than even the leopards here in the Sabi Sands, so they're about half the size again. So studying leopards that have never been studied before, and hopefully giving more information or adding the information to what is already known, and hopefully changing perceptions of how many leopards there are and what leopards do, that for me is a real thrill. So yeah, quite a difficult one, but as I say, hopefully the leaving or sort of leaving Wild Earth and carrying on to do the research, I'm almost getting the best of both worlds. And to the fact I can actually come back and share this with you again, oh, I'm just so chuffed. See you, huge grin. And I hope you're enjoying it as well. Oh, and apparently there's some Ellies with Jamie. So you can go and hopefully see some wonderful Ellie interactions down at the dam, and we'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.
Hello elephants, that was a quick drink. We appear to have found ourselves in a very good spot to spend a little bit of time with an elephant herd as the sun starts to descend. Lots of little babies, a couple of big females. She's definitely the largest in the middle of that group. All coming down. Interesting that they stopped where they did. They were about to start drinking and then moved right in front of us to drink. Hello, beautiful. A bit of a tussle going on there. Two young boys. This is a purely playful, I'm bigger than you are. And the one on the right is just a couple of months, maybe a year older than the one on the left, both young males, playing and learning while they do that. Oh no, the draw of the water is a little bit more exciting. All the babies, little babies, right in the middle of that group. Tiny little one. You'll see a lot of them do it as they go along, using their trunks to get to the best part of the water, move away all that waterweed and some of the build up on top of the water before they dip their trunks in and get a good drink. Hello, boy. Young male just walked across in front of us. He's pretty much on the outskirts of this herd. He's at the point where he's probably leaving home very soon, or leaving his herd. Same as that male that we saw earlier. Beautiful. There we go, trying to get rid of that frustrating water weed so that they can have a proper drink. Hear that sound as she was sucking the water out of her trunk. It sounded a bit like when you finished the drink that you're drinking with a straw and it's empty. There's nothing more peaceful than a scene like this, with a happy, comfortable elephant herd coming to drink. It looks like those two young boys are at it again, but with the younger one trying to get involved. No, it's over for now. What's that little one doing? It's kicking the dirt, I think. One of the last big females to walk behind and tell that young male that it's time for him to keep moving. It's not time for games. Such a beautifully peaceful scene. And then moving off to the edges. How special are moments like that? You get to spend time with these incredibly impressive animals, to come down, have a quiet drink. It's one of my favorite things, and some of my best memories of spending time in the bush have been around this time of day with elephants, coming down to rivers to feed or to drink, and dams to drink. There's just something so peaceful about it. It's that perfect time of evening, the wind is all dropped. And one young male, I'm not sure, I don't think he's not quite finished drinking, I think. He wasn't ready to move, so he's come back for more. Here you go, testing with the tip of the trunk, finding the best drinking spot. Here you go, shifting it around a little bit to get to the cleaner water underneath. See the water dripping down out of his mouth. Not the tidiest of drinkers, but gets the job done. At his age, his trunk probably holds about 5 liters of water at a time. That's the equivalent of my entire water bottle that itchy ankle. My entire big water bottle that I'm carrying. It's the equivalent of me downing that in one go. Hey boy, the family's moving on. Better go catch up with him. He doesn't look too concerned. He's going to amble slowly over, just like a teenager, walking behind the rest of his family. Now imagine if you're an elephant, this drop in temperature might be a nice change actually after the heat of the last few weeks. Beautiful. I'm going to try and stay with our elephant herd. I'm just letting them move slowly through since this has been such a peaceful scene. It could approach. Now Laura's watching all the way from Pennsylvania, and she thinks that in some way the elephants have bonded with us in terms of listening to our voice or maybe getting used to our vehicle. And I'm not too sure. I don't think they know us individually. I certainly think they know the sounds of vehicles, and I think they could get to know individuals of us if we spent a lot of time with them, but we never know exactly which elephant herd we're spending time with. I did notice when we had those couple of weeks where we spent ages with maybe one or two elephant herds, we could identify them easily. The one had the backwards tusk, the one then had a very, very young calf with it, and I do think they got to know us and feel quite comfortable with us. Whether or not they know us individually or prefer to have us behind them, I don't think they mind that much. I don't think they care either way. We're part of just their whole life. For most of these elephants has been raised with vehicles around them all the time. You know, the last 40 or so years. And if they are Kruger elephants, which they could well be, if they've come in from Kruger, they will definitely have spent their whole lives with cars coming to and from. It's just part of that's all they know, that they don't know any different. And they're very, very used to that whole process. There was a little bird, but the little bird has vanished. I wanted to show it to you. I'm looking for it, but it has disappeared. They've moved further back. It's a little pied wagtail, but I'll find it for you as we go and try and stay with those elephants. They've disappeared off already. Can you believe it? About, I don't know, maybe 60 tons of animal combined just disappeared in the space of 5 minutes. It's like they were never here, apart from the traps and a couple of mud splashes. There's absolutely nothing. Oh, a couple of hippos there. I love this dam. Such a wonderful place to come and spend time. Ooh, it's getting a little chilly. There was one hippo who was standing up in the water but has decided to settle back down again. And I know that there is a very tiny baby somewhere around here. I haven't seen it though, I'm keeping my eyes peeled. Here we go, little hippo standing up. Quite a young hippo. Probably only just over a year. Now, Mrs. Pathov's 4th grade class is watching once again this afternoon and discussing a bit about hippos. And James, you want to know how long do hippos live? They can live quite a long time, James. Somewhere in the region of up to 40 years. They are long-lived animals, the same sort of age range as something like a rhino. Again, we talked about it with the lions as well when we spoke about lions 2 days ago, I think it was, and we spoke about how the males and the females have different life expectancies. And I imagine it probably is the same for hippos. I think once the bulls start getting a little bit older and they get pushed out towards the outskirts of the pod or the herd that they're in, and they get pushed out, they have to go off and find different water sources. They start to get old, they get injured in fights. They probably have a slightly shorter life expectancy than a female. I don't see our young calf, but I do want to go and try and find those elephants quickly, just before they disappear off into the drainage line. But this has been such a special time spent at the dam. I also want to find you that wagtail while I can. A little bit about the life expectancy of a hippo, but Noah, who's also in Mrs. Puthoff's class and talking about hippos, Noah wants to know if they have any natural enemies. And the answer is yes, they do, although it's quite unusual for anything to really get past them. Especially the biggest risk time is when they're young, when they are babies, because that is when they are at their most defenseless and they're entirely reliant on their mother. But even then, even something like a crocodile would struggle to get hold of a baby hippo because mom would be so defensive. Sometimes the males, especially when it's a drought season and the pressure starts to really increase, probably most hippo deaths are caused by other hippos. And the males start to get aggressive. They either take their aggression out on each other, or sometimes, quite inexplicably in cases, they actually kill the calves that are in the dam with them. But that's quite a high pressure, unusual situation when there's not much water around them. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Lions can kill hippos. It's unusual, but it does happen, especially if it's an injured hippo that's been in a fight and is slightly weakened. And a hyena can also plague hippos if they're injured and eventually kill them. So there are records of them being killed by the bigger predators. Something like a leopard would have absolutely no chance. They're very big and they can defend themselves incredibly well. Now, Noah, I'm sure that you've seen that yawn that hippos do, where they open their mouths wide and you can see the tusks coming out, protruding out of the bottom of their jaws, and the bottom ones stick out almost like spears, forwards facing, and the top ones slice downwards. And those make for absolutely formidable weapons when they're needed. Hear a ghost bird calling. See if we can try and catch up with those elephants. Here we go. As we slowly make our way to these eddies, nice and gently so we don't disrupt them in any way. This female is very close to us, so I don't want to give her a fright. No big deal. I'm just going to finish off some questions for Mrs. Puthoff's class, who's chatting about hippos. Serena, while we watch this elephant munch away on one of her favorite foods, you were wondering if hippos have a favorite food. And yes, they will do. Now, I'm sure that you know that hippos only eat grass, and they come out at night and they graze a lot, and they can move very, very far from where they start off in the night. But certain types of grass have more nutrition that's better for them than others, and probably taste better as well. And they will go off to certain grazing grounds where they know that they can find those types of grass. Something like a type of grass called a buffalo grass, or maybe some red grass or bushveld signal grass. These are all different types of grass that taste nice to the hippos and also give them the vitamins that they need. We're watching now as the elephant snacks on a bush. I can't actually honestly tell you which one it is. It's right in the middle of a spike thorn grove. There's a couple of what looks like sour plum trees in there as well. I'm not sure what she's enjoying. She's definitely having a good munch. Sometimes I think it must be easier for elephants to maintain their weight compared to hippos. Hippos can only eat grass. Elephants can eat trees and grass. But of course then an elephant is that much heavier than a hippo. She's really enjoying whatever it is she's munching on.
Back everybody, and it sounds like you had a fantastic sighting with elephants. I'm hoping my mum actually managed to get to see them. that is one of her favourite animals. Every time I was on air and they were there, she was never on board, and whenever they were, I'd get a burst tyre or something. But we're here at Buffelshoek Dam, and we're just panning down now, and I was hoping maybe the Birmingham males would have come to drink here, because we were lucky enough to actually catch up with them this morning. There was 4 males. Apparently they'd finished eating a buffalo just to the east that way. They were actually feeding on a buffalo yesterday, I believe. Belly's right out here. Unfortunately they weren't moving too much in the morning, but after a cat's eaten there's a lot of salt that they need to get rid of and help to rehydrate them again, so they need to go and drink. So I was hoping maybe this dam was close to where they were, and I was just asking one of the guides and he said no, there's actually a water source close by. But who knows, they might change their mind. Apparently it has happened. I think we were just discussing actually that there was it the Salalas that... Oh, it's the Unkahumas. Apparently the Unkahumas had eaten, and there was actually a water source fairly close by, but they decided to go to a water source that was about 1.5 km away rather. So whatever made them decide to go there, who knows. So I was hoping, but it looks, apart from a heron, there was a couple of woolly storks just off in the distance, but I think they flew off. But if we can head down to the heron down there, he was still around. Absolutely beautiful, and obviously with the sun starting to set, it's getting cooler and the francolin are starting to cool. And that is an adult grey heron. You may recognise it from Europe. There's quite a few grey herons there, but these are resident here. They don't migrate up to Europe, but they are the same species, the grey heron. It's quite interesting with the herons, you know, they've got that long bill, and that's used for stabbing the fish. That's why he's waiting in the shallows, waiting to see if there's any fish that will happen his way. And you might even see them wading right out, sort of almost covering the whole bird, and they will actually be able to fish there as well. There you go, as well. But that beak does get full of the juices from the fish, the scales and everything, so they don't have any way, any hands to help wipe the beak clean. So instead what they do, they wipe the beak onto the feathers, and then they have a comb on their toe, and that can actually groom through the feathers and take out all of that excess, the scales and the slime and things like that, and that helps to clean them. So that's how they clean their bill. And you can see preening there. Preening is very important in birds because they have to keep their feathers in tip-top condition to make sure that they can fly. If anything's out of order, they have problems. And most birds will actually have a gland right at the base by their tail, and that will produce an oil. It's called preen oil. It's the preen gland that produces that oil. And they'll take a bit of that oil and actually wipe it over their feathers to help keep them water watertight, waterproof, and you'll see birds actually going through that routine to groom quite a few hours during the day. And there's actually an Egyptian goose just to the right of the heron, again another species that's found across Europe as well, also preening. Apparently it gets the name the Egyptian goose because it was supposed to be the goose that was on the hieroglyphs for the Egyptians. Apparently it meant sun. How true that is, I'm not entirely sure, but it's a good story. That does look stunning, hey? With the reflection in the water. Usually quite good at picking up if there's any animals or any threats around, and they do honk and whistle. They're very quiet, which is unusual for an Egyptian goose. They've always got something to talk about. Hi Mike, great to hear from you. And definitely another part of the job I miss is seeing stumps. But I will try and keep a lookout for a kingfisher for you. This would be a good area to look for kingfishers, especially the pied. There used to be a pair that would be here, and actually if we can go just up to the right of the Egyptian goose, you might see one of the old holes that the pied kingfishers used to use. There we go. We do have 10 species of kingfisher that live in South Africa, but only 4 of them will actually fish on a regular basis, and the pied kingfisher is one of those. But another common one we may get a chance to see is a brown-hooded kingfisher, and that will tend to be more in the bush. Nice. Wow, I'm impressed with you keeping up with these animals at speed. It's amazing. Very, very cool. So we'll see, we'll keep a lookout for a brown-hooded kingfisher. I'm just going to poke my nose in just over the bank here, where the water has decreased somewhat, but you never know, there might be a leopard lying up there. And then we'll carry on back to the Impala Plains. With it getting cooler, Karula might be on the move again. Heather in the UK, wanting to know how tall the heron is and what the wingspan is. How tall? Oh, just trying to think of what we can liken it to. I think on an average human, it would probably come up to, would I class as an average human? I'm quite small actually. Maybe come up to your chest. So it's very tall bird, long neck as well. The wingspan is incredibly. Oh, there's one flying just above it. There we go. They actually do look like pterodactyls. Beautiful. There you go. You can see the wingspan is actually, it looks longer than the head and the body put together. And that's including the legs as well. So an incredibly wide wingspan. I'm just trying to think, maybe as wide as Jigger? Would that be about, or do you think maybe a little bit wider? I don't know, maybe someone can Google it for the exact measurements. If someone can Google it for us, and send your answer into questions@WildEarth.TV or hashtag Safari Live, and just see if we can't get actual measurements for Heather in UK. And how am I on the left hand side there? Am I okay? But yeah, unfortunately no one lying up under the branches here in the bushes. This all had water in last time I was here. Okay, well we'll go through to the other side. You never know, just a different perspective. You might see something. Questions. And it's funny, different people that I speak to remind me of different scenarios, so I think definitely been privileged to have had so many sightings to have that problem with that I can't choose one single one. But one of the scenarios, we actually drove past it today, and it was actually seeing the tree again. I think one of the scariest things, and it was one of my very first drives when we used to do the night drives, and we'd seen Karula eating on an impala. Everyone had left the sighting. We ended up going out and sort of being the last ones there because we had the night camera at that stage. It was pitch black, we couldn't see anything in front of us, but we were using the infrared to see what Karula was doing, and she decided she was going to take the impala up into the tree. It was a tree on top of a termite mound, and the trunk was about, I'd say 3.5–4 meters straight up. So she decides, there's a little bush next to the trunk, and she decides no, she's going to pull it up the tree. And this is why leopards are just amazing cats. They are able to pull their body weight plus vertical up a tree. So I had no fear she'd be able to do this, and she'd been feeding on it. So she takes a step out, she goes up onto the small bush, and she takes a step out. She's about a meter, maybe a meter and a half above the termite mound. And sorry, I just turned that off. So yeah, so she puts her foot out to grab hold of the trunk. She slips. She comes crashing down with the impala. I must admit, and Herman was the cameraman at the time, he said that I went white. And I honestly thought Karula had killed herself, and I'm thinking, this is one of my very first drives. How do I tell the viewers the star of the show has just killed herself? That was probably the scariest in that regard. I thought, how on earth am I going to do this? And the relief when she got up, I promise you, those few seconds I've never felt longer in my life. So that was possibly one of the funniest as well, because I was laughing the fact that I'd reacted like that. But yeah, funniest, there have been moments where we have laughed out loud from what some of the animals have done. I'm just struggling to remember some of them. But I'm sure some of you remember the close encounter of the Ellie kind that we had, which was incredible. And it was a bull. We'd been watching him for about 40 minutes, didn't show any sign of aggression, didn't show he was unhappy, and he started walking towards us, and I thought, you know what, he's going to carry on by, and he stopped there, like literally. I can show you. I'm sure some of you have watched that, but he literally stopped that far away here. I thought, oh, he's not going to walk on by at all, is he? He stopped here, And even at that point, I actually felt he was just inquisitive of what was going on. He then put his tusk on the bull bar and just bounced it, and something just said to me, don't shout, don't bang on the side, don't move, just talk to him. So I was saying, hey, no. And he was like, okay, cool, I'm not going to intimidate you, I see what the whole thing is now. And he backed off, walked right next to me again, and I watched the video clip and I saw his tusk was about that close to my head. And I didn't feel threatened by him at all. He was literally inquisitive. He literally lifted up his trunk, blew a bit of hot air, walked off around the back of us. I think Andrew was on the camera at the time, and he moved slightly, and that's when we got the head shake, and then he carried on. I think that was possibly one of the most incredible sightings. A little bit scary, I thought maybe I've read it wrong, but that whole encounter, I never felt any aggression. We'd been following him, and I saw the same individual about 3 times after that, and still carried on walking past us. We were able to drive around him. There was no aggression there at all. But yeah, absolutely incredible, and that's just one of the few things that I've actually been able to experience with you all, which there's just too many memories, and I'm just so glad we've been able to share those. Some of you, I'm sure, remember Karula with Yambili Ordan and the 2 cubs, Shavinzi and Shivambalana. And Karula actually left Yambili Ordan to babysit. We were left with the father of the cubs, while Karula went off chasing after a Dacre, and the cubs just went, Mum, who are we following? And Yambili Ordan walked off and the cubs followed. Absolutely amazing. So we are on Buffles Hook Cut Line. I believe maybe the signal might go, oh, roller just flew off there. I thought it might have been the brown-hooded kingfisher. So I'm just going to keep quiet as we go through the dip, and hopefully out through the other side, and we'll take Mvubu Road down towards the dam and see if we can head towards Impala Plains and just do another loop. You never know, Karula might just pop her head out of that block where we believe her tracks actually went in this morning. Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands, and experiencing this with you. And I hope you're enjoying it back home. Enjoying the stories, and I believe Jamie's actually found some more elephants, so we're going to cut to Jamie and hopefully you'll enjoy the elephants again. Bye for now.
It seems to me that today you can't even escape the elephants. They just are all around us. We're sitting at the moment on Arathusa airstrip. As you can see, the wind is still blowing us away a little bit, but this is such a peaceful sunset scene we've got to experience. This cow in front of me is probably one of the biggest ones I've seen out here. She's really quite a serious cow. She'll be easily over 40 years old. It seems like everywhere I look, off to the left, off to the right, there's Ellie's emerging from everywhere. It's such a special way to spend an evening. Hello, girl. Itch behind her ear. You see her scratching. can't quite get the spot. Oh, there we go. She had a piece of sand behind her ear. They're all slowly coming around this side. A couple of the babies all being escorted by the adult. Well, we were watching earlier, one of the young bulls was eating a... Hello, Mom. What's up? She's stopped to watch the advance of that young male. Gentle. Oh! That could have been more gentle. Tusk to the bottom. You'll probably find that that's an older brother of that young calf. The way that whole interaction played out. Baby's wanting a little bit of a drink. Here we go. Almost. Yep. Mum stopped to let it suckle. I think if I reposition now, it'll give her a fright. But we've got them so nice and out and in the open, we don't need to. That was a quick drink. Just a quick snack. Oh no, Mum, I'm not quite done, Mom. Mom. There we go. Grab a quick couple of sips as Mom carries on. And right behind, bringing up the rear, waiting for all the members of her family to go ahead of her, is a female that I would say is almost certainly the matriarch. She's definitely the oldest elephant and the biggest elephant here. Waiting for one last straggling male, staying between us and the rest. With that pinnacle of wisdom and protectiveness for her family. And every single elephant in this herd will be related to her in some way. They'll either be her daughters or her grandchildren, maybe even a younger sibling, a younger sister. It's quite a special thing when you think about it. Baby's having another quick drink. Again, broken off because Mom wants to keep pace with the herd. You can hear the crunch of their feet in the sand. There's no other sound like that. Also one of the bigger females in this group, but still younger than that large matriarch. Straggling behind. Must be a wonderful thing growing up a female elephant calf. And knowing that you will always have the sanctuary and protection of the rest of your family. It's quite a meaningful time. I love spending time with elephants out in the open like this, especially in this, just at that right as the sun is going down. I'm going to shift a little bit further forward so we can watch them disappear off into the bush, and then I will leave them be. A beautiful evening sky. Nippy though. It's definitely cold. Oh, I was actually saying earlier that when we first got here there was a young male who'd just taken a mouthful of grass and was busy chewing it. and another young male about the same age walked up and just tried to stick his trunk in the first male's mouth and take the food out of his mouth. He just decided, like kids do, that because the other elephant had it, he wanted it. Baby's having a scratch behind its ear on mom. In fact, I don't even think that might not be mom. I think that might even be grandmother. Nothing like the sounds of elephants feeding in a very contented manner. And they really have got to the point in the season where they are pretty much 50-50, maybe a little bit more tree, but they're enjoying the fresh green grass shoots as well. There's two young males off in the front of me, but I'll get to them in a moment. I've seen some young little ones, and you watch them how they imitate their mothers, the way they twist them around the branches. And Joe, you're wondering at what age they learn to use their trunk. It takes them a good couple of months. When you see them at that really, really small age, they're incredibly clumsy. They're still trying to imitate, just like young toddlers do in human beings. Ooh, just got a very strong whiff of elephant. They try and wrap it around, but they don't succeed very well. And it's only really at about 6 months that around the time when they start to supplement their milk diet with a little bit of solid food as well in there, that they really get the hang of actually being able to yank and pull leaves away with their trunks. And even then you see young ones, 1 or 2 years old, that are still not quite the same level of proficiency as their mothers are. It takes them, much like with young children, it takes children a couple of years, even once they start walking and running, to really get the hang of the fine motor coordination, the hand-eye coordination. If you watch young children learning to throw and to catch a ball, it's kind of a very similar thing with elephants. It's something that they have to learn through practice. I think we're going to lose them very soon. I'm trying to get that little baby at the back there, using its trunk. Not too badly coordinated. Hey mister, I'm trying to talk about the baby. Oh, ferried along the back of the group. For that little baby elephant, it's got a good couple of years of security with the herd before reaching the teenage period and then reaching sexual maturity. And Dee, who's watching all the way in Indiana, you were wondering what age elephants start to mate. They are, both the males and the females are ready to mate at around 15 years old. That being said, there have been cases of females mating as early as 12 years old. And it's actually a process that for the first time for the female can be quite traumatic because they're tiny still at 12 years old. And generally the males that mate with them are the full-grown over 40-year-old or over 30-year-old males. So a good 5-6 tons of elephant. It can be quite an experience for them, and that's part of the reason why elephant mating is so incredibly short, because their hips just cannot bear the weight of a 5-ton elephant mounting them. For the males, although they're ready to mate at that young age and they go through those peaks of testosterone, they start going through them at around 15, the must cycles, they're not really going to get an opportunity until they're much older and able to compete with the bulls over about 30 years old. Every now and again they might get a sneaky mating session in, but generally cows in estrus attract the big bulls and they come and they follow them. And because the courtship lasts for so long, they plan it in that kind of way. It depends a little bit on males versus females and what opportunities that particular elephant is exposed to. I think we might be losing our elephants to the low light. And I'm going to leave them now, I think. It's getting a bit dark, we won't be able to see them too clearly, and I'm going to start heading back towards the direction of Djuma. And while I do that, let's head across to Tara.
Welcome back, everybody. It's good to have you back. I hope you enjoyed the Ellies. And I'm hoping now it's getting, well, we've just gone through dusk. We are getting quite dark here now. I'm hoping we might be lucky enough to catch some eyes in the spotlight. And maybe those eyes will belong to a certain cat who I'm not going to name now. Maybe it was talking about her. That jinxed it, but who knows. But we are heading back towards the sandy patch area, so we're going to do another loop around there just to see. So we're on Galago or Gallego. We're actually having this little debate there, Galago or Gallego, otherwise known as a bush baby. So we're on the shortcut, and we're going to be heading west along Voyatella axis. Oh, but what I can do, just some thoughts while I'm here, people can still get past me. I'll pick something up along the way for you, for probably your last whodunit for the day from me. And I promise you, is that enough light there? There we go. I promise you it's not the same as before, but that's all I'm going to say. So if you would like to play along with whodunit, hashtag Safari Live, questions at WildEarthTV, whodunit. I did pick this up quite a while ago, I'm not going to tell you where. But this is my second favourite animal, and we've had some wonderful sightings with these animals. So while you ponder that one, we're going to carry on. Let's see if Lady will show herself today. Oh, look who we got walking down the road. Lovely. Yeah, I'm just going to pull over a little bit more so see if it will walk past us. Oh, fantastic. Hello, little one. Quite a young animal. You're not going to walk down the road. That's possibly because it's a young animal. It's still not sure of itself. So not as bold as what spotted hyenas usually are. Let's see if it will come around the bush. I did give it quite a lot of room, so it did look like a young animal. I don't think it's going to be the little cub that I called on Tumbela. Still a little bit too big for her. Okay, I'm going to move on. I thought maybe it would come out in the open if we were stationary, but maybe just change direction. Lovely, spotted hyena. Let's see if we can't pick it up again. The fur was still quite long. As they get older, the fur does reduce in length. Still quite pale. Yeah, I think it's gone right off into the bush. Oh, that'd have been lovely to have a walk by us. Hi, Machia. Welcome on board from Washington State. It's going to be morning for you guys, isn't it? I think. Trying to remember now. Actually, let's just take this sign, just see if our spotted hyena hasn't come out. Try the western side of quarantine area, but we do have a scrub hare sitting in the road. So that is a scrub hare. So I'm trying not to blind it, that's why I'm trying to bounce the light just before it. Spotted hyena might eat a scrub hare if they could really muster the energy to run after it, but not likely. Leopard might, if it catches it unawares. Bush is very quiet. Somebody calling, but it's very distant, it's just on the wind. Maybe it's worth us sticking around here. Let's just do a lap around quarantine, you never know. Quarantine open area is one of those funny areas. Either nothing is there or everything happens there. But the calendar, everybody is asking about the calendar we used to do. So some of the, oh, you're going to sit there, are you? Okay. I don't want to blind you. Quickly, the difference between the hares and the rabbits. Some people say the ears, some people say the legs. Generally speaking, yeah, hares will have longer ears and longer legs, but it's to do with their offspring. That's the main difference. So hares, and she looks quite heavily pregnant. She's got quite a big belly on her. They'll actually give birth to young that is very well developed, and they'll actually give birth above ground, so that the young need to be well developed so they can move around straight away, and that's known as precocial young. The rabbits, they'll actually give birth underground in warrens, and the young are underdeveloped, so they will still need to develop the eyesight. They'll actually be born hairless, so that all needs to develop after they're born. So that's why they go and give birth underground, so it's protection for the young, and that's known as altricial young. So that's the main difference between hares and rabbits. But she does look heavily pregnant, wow. Are you going to let us continue in our way, lady? Still no rustling heard from the bush to her left. So I think maybe we'll turn around and just see if our hyena hasn't made it over to the quarantine area that side. But yeah, the calendars that we were making were from the camera trap pictures from the research cameras. So we're putting all the best shots for that year on the calendar, and the proceeds were going to helping run the research. And thank you again to anybody who bought those calendars, because that really did help a lot. Whether it was for equipment or fuel for the vehicles, that sort of thing, every little bit helped. So if you did buy a calendar, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the pictures for years to come. I hope you don't throw the calendars away. We did also produce a calendar from the the pictures that I took while we were on game drive. We sold the calendars to help raise money for a primary school in Dixie, which is the village just out by the gate. It's not too far from where we are at the moment. To help raise money for sports equipment, and we actually managed to buy them a netball uniform and a few balls and a volleyball net, I think it was, that we bought as well. And hopefully they've continued to enjoy all of that sports equipment that, again, Wild Earth viewers helped to buy. So there's two different types of calendars that we put together with all the pictures. So the Djuma one for the sports equipment was from here, and then the research one with the camera trap pictures from the Ingwe leopard research. Now I'd love to find the spotted hyena for you again. So it looked like a young animal. Still, I don't think it's been out by itself very long. It didn't have the confidence of an adult. An adult would have walked straight past the vehicle and not even bothered about us being there. So I think it's still finding its way in the world. Come on, little one, where did you go? Didn't see any tracks of it crossing over. Just starting to check for the trees. You never know, a leopard might be lying up on the branches of the marula. There was the shine of an eye, single eye from a wildebeest, but we're not going to put the spotlight on the wildebeest. We have seen them today. And we don't want to show up where the prey is, as you blind them and give them an unfair advantage or disadvantage, and an unfair advantage to the carnivores. Same over that side as well. Zebra and impala again. So the food is here. Are we going to see anybody taking advantage of the fact that prey is here? Another exciting memory that I have, I think it was both me and Mark out on drive, and there was a serval just in the grass just off the way here, and I was so excited, I think I shouted a little bit too loud, "There's a serval! Go live, go live!" And unfortunately the serval thought, "I'm not sticking around for that, thank you," and moved off. So literally as we went live, all you saw was the back end of the serval moving. Oh, some more scrub hares here. They're quite small scrub hares, so they could be the leverets from maybe late last year. Go ahead, Jamie. Negative. for final control. Do you copy? Copy now. Sorry everybody. Blonde moment of the evening. Switched the wrong radio off. Told you it was going to happen. Blondie's on board. Panic over everybody. Awesome. Oh yes, we had the who done it, didn't we? Raisa, Robin, Linda, Elizabeth, Joe, all correct with my second favourite animal. It was the rhino dung. Well done everybody, you got it right. Well done. It was dark in colour and it had grass in there rather than branches or twigs. Obviously black rhino, they are different. For those who don't know the difference, the black rhino are browsers. They eat leaves and twigs and you find that in their dung, and the white rhino are grazers. They eat grass. Say my second favourite animal, and they're a lot more intelligent than what people give them credit for. Before I actually came out to be a guide, I did work in a wildlife park and we had rhino, and the one male actually worked out how to use his horn to open his gate. That's how intelligent they are. There was two bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom, and he slid them open. We found him in the corridor that he had access to the field anyway, but just for their safety we brought them in at night. We found him there in the morning. It was like, oh, how on earth did you work that one out? So we put a little hook that swung down to stop the bolt from opening, and he thankfully didn't have the capability to hold the tab up to slide the bolt across. But never underestimate the intelligence of a rhino. So we're on the western side of the quarantine area, in the hope that maybe we'll find that spotted hyena. We'll still carry on working our way over towards the Impala Plains side. Oh, I'm so glad that you're also enjoying the animals, and you actually joined me on the 2 weeks earlier this year that I was able to come and drive for Wild Earth. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you're enjoying all the times that we've shared together. That is awesome. Donna and Wendy, welcome on board this afternoon, or this evening now. Wanting to know if I'm taking my little dog Tucker to the UK. I'm just going to move this branch out the way. Just checking that no one's going to jump out the bush. And it looks like our scrub hair did move, just making sure I'm not going to get jumped on. Just while I move this out the way. And then I shall come back and answer your question about my little dog Tucker. distracting myself with all the lights on Jigger now. I was just saying, it's absolutely fantastic, the lights that have been put on Jigger. I'm sure she's enjoying them as well. Especially for Rosie. I just got to plug myself back in, hold on. There we go. So yeah, Tucker, my little Jack Russell, also very intelligent, too intelligent for his own good. I am looking at trying to take him back with me, but until I know exactly what country I'm going to be living in and what I'm going to be doing, that will then dictate where he's going to be. But he's going to be staying with friends who he absolutely adores, and they adore him, so I know he's going to be in good hands. And then yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping. Depends on what I'm doing at the end of the day, so we shall see. But I would definitely keep everybody posted. He is definitely a character of note. Unfortunately, he was a throwaway, he was abandoned, and he follows me around literally like my shadow. He goes everywhere with me, he is camp mascot, goes on all the research walks. I think actually if I spent the time with him, he probably could end up changing all the cameras for me as well. But no, awesome little dog. I couldn't have asked for a better companion. The reason why he's called Tucker, because I thought if he's not careful, he'll become bush food. Is almost coming to an end. Where did the time go? So that's the thing with the bush, time just flies. Unfortunately I haven't been able to relocate the spotted hyena, but we'll just drive a little bit down here. You never know, we might get lucky with Karula. You never know. Just making sure I do have all my lights on. See who else might be walking up the road. Let's say this is Africa, this is the bush. A lion could walk up the road, Karula could pop her head out. You just don't know. Maybe a bush baby bouncing in the trees. I think it was actually here to our right we last saw Shaminzi and Shambhalana together. Oh, hello. Oh, nope, Steenbok running away. Disappeared. Hi, Susie. Welcome on board, Susie. Wanting to know if I'll still be watching when I go home, and will I be chatting with you guys? I hope so. As I say, I haven't had internet, unfortunately it's been very sparse. So I should hopefully have more internet back in the UK, which is one of the reasons for going back to write up my thesis. But so yeah, I'm hoping maybe one day I might be able to drop in and have a chat with you guys. I'll certainly try. Just having a scan around here. Remember, this open area here we had cheetah, and Mishu had never seen cheetah before. And Mishu was actually the second litter of Karula, and the way he actually reacted to that cheetah, he'd never seen it before in his life, and he wasn't sure until he poked his head out a little bit too far. The cheetah clocked him and thought, I'm not sticking around for a leopard, and ran off, and then he became very bold and very sure of himself. Incredible to see behaviour from a leopard, and the fact he was being so gentle with that baby monkey really, it blew us away. It really did blow us away. Oh, we might have something of interest. I can find where the road is. There we go. Out there? Ah! How's that? Well spotted. Hopefully I've got the light right for you. Well spotted. It just goes to show. Sharp eyes, you can see so much. Oh, thank you so much, everybody, and I would love to spend the whole night here with you guys, but unfortunately we are going to have to say goodbye. And it's just been fantastic to drive around, reminisce with you all, see a few wonderful things this afternoon. And it might not have been big animals, but that's the bush. Any little thing, any animal behaviour is always worth watching and just learning about. And that's one thing I love about the bush. You just never know what you're going to come across. It has been fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for wonderful camera work. I'm still blown away by how quickly you could keep up with everything. And guess what? I didn't lose him off the back of the vehicle. He's still here. You can hear him. But thank you to everybody back home with all the well wishes and everything. It means so much to have been able to spend this time with you and share all of this with you, and to have your support as I'm going through the rest of my career as well. It's just been wonderful, so thank you so much. And I'm not going to go away. I'm still going to be in touch with you for sure. But thank you on behalf of everybody here at Wild Earth. Take care of wherever you are and tune in. These guys, you're in great hands. It is a fantastic team, and I think they're going to show you some wonderful things on board Jigger and Wendy and the other vehicles. So take care, everybody. Enjoy Wild Earth. It is such a treasure. Bye for now.